Will the beginning of the primary season be the end of the primary season this year? This is the first in the 2024 campaign. It could possibly determine whether former President Trump is on a path to the Republican nomination. The candidates were out making their final pitch to voters yesterday. New York One Washington reporter Kevin Fry is in Bedford, New Hampshire. This is it, Kevin. New Hampshire voters in some cases have already been at the polls, and it is going to be a busy day there.
Yeah, the polling is very much underway. Of course, as you mentioned, the candidates made their closing arguments yesterday, and this is now very much in the hands of the voters here, including those that have passed through this high school gymnasium where I am today. There was a line when the door opened at 7 a.m. that stretched through in circuitous ways through the little lineup over there. Now it has died down. We imagine it'll pick up again perhaps a little later on today, but lots of people coming through here eager to make their voice heard. The big questions today are, one, will Trump continue to dominate? Or two, will Nikki Haley provide somewhat of a surprise? The polling is not necessarily indicating that. That is, all eyes are here on the Granite State.
This is a crowded place.
Donald Trump back in New Hampshire for primary eve after voluntarily spending part of his Monday in court in New York City. Joined by allies on stage, the former president urged his supporters to the polls.
We're down to 2 people, and I think one person will be gone probably tomorrow, and the other one will be gone in November.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley also making her final pitch, painting herself as a change agent.
When you go out on Tuesday, you're going to decide, do you want more of the same or do you want something new?
Trump has a double-digit edge in the polls here. Haley has vowed to stay in the race no matter what happens, but she could face pressure to end her candidacy if Trump wins in a blowout. Some voters are hoping that she battles on.
Trump's got things that are in process, too. You don't know what could happen legally.
Democrats also have a primary here today, with one name notably missing from the ballot, Joe Biden. The sitting president opted to not file amid a conflict over the primary calendar. The Democratic National Committee wanted the more diverse state of South Carolina to hold the party's first primary, but New Hampshire refused. While there's a push for voters to write in Biden's name, some here argue he made the wrong choice in bypassing New Hampshire.
I would not write him in.
So, Kevin, what does the week ahead look like for Nikki Haley?
Yeah, I mean, look, it really depends on what these results are like tonight. How close does she come to Trump? If she comes close at all, that could determine whether or not she has any momentum, whether the fundraisers plan to stick with her and her donors continue to stick with her. She has a rally planned for Wednesday in South Carolina, clearly trying to signal that she's moving ahead. But if you look even further down the line when it comes to the primary schedule, things don't, in the immediate future anyway, look very good or promising for her. Between Nevada and South Carolina, yes, her own home state where she was governor, she is falling far behind in the polls there, with Trump dominating as he did otherwise.
Kevin, it's a different kind of primary year with so decisive an early result, at least in terms of what the pollsters are predicting. Does that mean that people in states like New Hampshire and South Carolina and Iowa haven't felt the same connection to the process that they have in other years where there's really been less of a foregone conclusion?
I think it was 1976, which obviously, if you're doing the math, is some 50-odd years ago, or close to 50 years ago, which was the last time that we saw Iowa and New Hampshire back-to-back go for any Republican candidate. And so this time, they are lining up in force behind him. One has to also remember, though, that Trump may be part of an open primary process that's happening, but he's also running off of incumbent energy. But clearly this is only underlining that he very much has a grip and a hold on at least a good chunk of the Republican caucus.